Okay, guys, I wanted to make a video on Ilia Topuria's first defense. Um, as you probably know, he he doesn't seem impressed with any of the challengers, and I agree. Not take nothing away from Brian Ortega and Yair Rodriguez, who probably will be the number one contender, whoever wins that. Max Holloway, Calvin Cater, Josh Emmett. They're all good fighters, but like I've been telling everybody, Tupuria's always been on a higher level than even Volkanovski and probably Makachev. So he is correct. You can see the confidence. He doesn't think that anybody's worthy of fighting him because most of them have already had title shots. They did mention Movsar Evlov, who I think is probably the best fight. And I even made a prediction on it because they were supposed to fight like 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. But he made a good point. I think Movsar Evlov is 6-0 in the UFC, with all six going to the decision. And Topuria wasn't impressed with that. He wasn't belittling him or tearing down Evlov, but he just made a point about how he just wins by decision. And I never really thought of that, but it made me think who is a good opponent. Who is a good opponent if it's not Evlov? So this video is dedicated to who I think would be a good draw for him to fight in Spain if he fought in Spain. And my pick is none that he deserves it, but Giga Chikadze. Giga Chikadze is from Georgia. He's tall and he's lanky, and I think he's a top 15, if not top 10. I think it'd be a hell of a fight. Two Georgians fighting in Spain, and or maybe they should have it in Georgia, but um, I don't think that would sit well with a lot of people to have that fight when people probably think there's more deserving fighters out there. I mean, Calvin Cater obliterated Giga Chikadze, but Chikadze is still a good fighter. Um, and like Topuria said, a lot of these guys have had title shots already. Um, yeah. Anyway, so just for fun, I'm gonna make that prediction. I know it's not gonna happen, but I personally think it'd be a good fight because of the range and the power and the length of Giga. Um, I don't think Topuria would have troubles with those other fighters. Maybe Yair. Yair might be the toughest opponent. I don't think Holloway, Ortega. He's already beaten Emmett. I don't think Kadar. I don't think any of those fighters are going to beat him. I think Yair has the best chance. I think Volk doesn't really stand a good chance in the rematch. So, I mean, I could make a prediction against Yair, but I'd rather make it against Giga Chikadze, even though it's going to be one-sided most likely. I still think if I had to pick well, it should be Masvar, but I've already made my prediction on him and Masvar. So I'm going to make a prediction on him and Giga. Um, Obviously, being at home in Spain would be a huge benefit to Topuria, not that he needs it. Um, but I think he'd come out cautious. I think just because he knows that Giga has kicks and has power, and is tall and lanky. I think Topuria. I can see Topuria sizing him up for 2 rounds. Just he's a slow starter. Topuria likes to read his opponent. He did this with Volk. He did this with Emmett. Um, a lot of people. He likes to just take his time. I think he would do that with Giga, and I think Giga would um, get into the comfort zone with his kicks. I don't think he'd connect well with his hands, but I think he would definitely land. But I don't think it would bother Topuria. I think Topuria would deflect most of it with his glove probably. Um, I don't think it would hurt Topuria. I do see third round Topuria starting to tee off. Um, I think Giga would be affected. I think he would start backing up. I think his kicks and his range would keep Topuria from finishing him though for a while. Um, I do think that I do think that even though the first 2 rounds are probably, Giga, he might take it just on kicks. He might not get the rounds, but I think the third and fourth would be all Topuria. And so if let's say the fight is even, I think Topuria would stop him in the fifth. Um, if he doesn't stop him, he wins that fifth round. But I think Giga presents a formidable challenge. I think because they're both from Georgia, I think Topuria would have a lot of respect for him. He is a decent fighter, and I think Giga would do everything he can to win, and I think it would be highly competitive. I think my prediction is that Giga wins the first 2 rounds, not because he's totally dominant of Topuria, but just because Topuria is just a slow starter and would be filling him out, and Giga would win it on kicks. Whether he would get the decision, whether the judges would give those first 2 rounds with Giga was another story. I think Topuria at home, I think he can probably get away with just getting into the feel of it, and maybe even get those rounds too from the judges over there. But as far as I would score it, I can see the fight going for Giga in the first 2 rounds, and then Topuria in the next two, and then either Topuria stopping him or pummeling him through the fifth, and then winning a decision. So that's my prediction for Giga Chikadze and Ilia Topuria.